Hi, this is Ron Ovitt, Mr.ChangeAgent, and I'm so glad that you're here today and taking a look at this. This is part 2 on MindSkills. We explained in the first video, and if you didn't watch that, you might want to go back to it and learn a little bit about the theory of MindSkills. But today I want to talk about some of the different elements that we're going to do in MindSkills. Now, you're not going to learn how to do them in this short video. Instead, I have a whole webinar. And I have books and I have different kinds of meditations. This is a whole thing that takes a long time to learn. You know, you need to practice and it gets better. All these things are skills. And skills come with practice. They come with practice. You know, Michael Jordan didn't become Michael Jordan just because he was a natural has a natural ability. In fact, you know, the old saying out there is that he didn't even make the first time he went out for a basketball team. And how embarrassing to that coach today, right? And we want to do that. We want to take someone that's extraordinary and not blame it on the fact that they practice all the time, but say, oh, there must be something different about them. Oh, it must be their muscles. There must be this innate talent. And yes, some of that counts. I get that. But he would get out there after each game and keep practicing, shoot 100 times. He practiced and practiced and practiced. He drilled for skill. He would visualize. He would do all these things. And that's what we need to do with our life. You know, we don't get somewhere by accident. We work toward it. And we need to get a mindset that is what I call a growth mindset, a change mindset. Instead of a set mindset. There's a whole book on mindset, and it's a great read, and you might want to get into it. But today, I know in my own life, I knew that if I did somewhat good in something, I'd be okay. I wouldn't be in trouble. But if I tried to do something beyond that and failed, I was afraid of being rejected. I was a good wrestler, but I didn't want to go out for it because I was so nervous that I would lose in the match. And it was easier for me to run from that, not do it, and stay in my little bubble, this set place, this set mindset, not wander beyond it because I felt safe there. Oh, that I would have learned a growth mindset, that I would have learned what I call a change mindset. That it's okay to learn, it's okay to try, it's okay, you know, it's exciting, and these things are exciting. But it's not going to happen without you practicing. And so what are some of them? Well, the first one's breathing. You go, oh, I already got that one. Well, if you're watching this, chances are you are breathing, right? And so, yeah, we breathe. But how do we breathe? You'd be surprised how much breathing is right up here, right up here. We don't really breathe from down here. We don't take breathing. And I go over about 4 or 5 different kinds of breathing that we can do. I think one of my favorite ones, just to give you one for relaxing, and you don't necessarily do this one in public, but it's, I learned this one when I was a kid, and later on I read it you know, in other books, didn't know that there was a whole theory behind it, but I had irritable bowel syndrome, right, because of all the phobias and anxiety that I had as a kid. So I spent a lot of time in the bathrooms, and I know in schools and in public places they have the metal cage, you know, a little container, right, that you go in and stall, I guess you'd say. And so I'd be in there, and one day I remember, you know, because I always like to sing, I went, hoo, and it echoed kind of, and so I did, hoo, and I remember how comforting that felt. That felt so good to go, oh, and I know from having grandchildren and children of my own, what do you do with a baby, right? Oh, and you calm them down, right? And that vibration from you kind of matches with them. Well, we know that that does things to us, and so, ooh, really can relax you. You know, well, there's all kinds of breathing ones, and I won't get into that now, but the point is, there's all kinds of breathing techniques that will help you regulate your emotions, that will help you come back to a natural, relaxing state, which is the second one, relaxation. Learning how to relax. We think we know how to relax, but we often don't. And so I have a whole series of exercises on how to relax the body and get it to relax. So, you know, we're up here so much. I'll never forget when I first started learning this, I thought I was the king, the master of it, right? And I was doing some biofeedback, and it would feed back to you a noise of the more relaxed you go, oh, you know, the more you relax. And I thought, man, I'm way down there. And the guy on the instrument there said, Ron, drop your jaw. I go, what? Drop your jaw. And so it's going, and when I went like that, all of a sudden it went, ooh, way down there. And I didn't know that I was holding so much tension in my jaw. And I'm telling you, my jaw was so sore later that night. I didn't know that I held so much tension here. We hold tension up in our shoulders, in our face, right? And we need to learn to relax. Another skill that we'll learn is focused attention. Part of the key to trigger management in our habits is learning to know when it's happening. Emotions are not feelings. Feelings like sadness and happy and all those are feelings. And yes, they're emotions. I don't want to get into semantics here. But the word emotion means to move. Emotions are really those sensations. It's that first realization that comes into our awareness that causes us to move. And it relates then in a feeling. And so what's important here is to be able to recognize that. And the only way we're going to do that is with practicing on how to become more aware. Aware of what's going on inside, what's going on in our body. I'll never forget that I remembered when I was taking this training, I was going to graduate school, and I also owned a company at the time. And I had a partner, and I disagreed on something. And that night I come home, and it was around 6 o'clock, and I'm yawning. I'm yawning, and I'm thinking, what in the world? I'm not tired. This is my prime time, man, 6 o'clock. And I'm yawning again, and I'm thinking, what's going on? What am I holding on to? What's going on? So I started replaying the tape. What am I hanging on to here? Because my mind was racing, and I remembered I had an argument, we disagreed, and I acquiesced. I gave in. And I was mad at myself for giving in. And so I rehearsed how I was going to go the next day and say, you know, I rethought some of this, and I want to challenge us again. I really think we can do this. And I was able to relax. I learned to listen to my body. And our body will tell us when we're being triggered, you know, in our emotions. Next one is guided imagery. Some people call this visualization. I've been practicing this for years. You know, when you think about our emotions, we always visualize, right? When we fear in Technicolor, surround sound, and 3D, right? Fear is a very imaginative thing. And so we need to fight fire with fire, you might say. And so I use guided imagery. I do what I call pre-live, where we learn to do something, we practice. You know, the same parts of our brain that lights up when we do something, lights up when we imagine it. You can imagine right now just biting into a lemon, and you'll feel your body reacting, you know. And so we can do that. We can pre-live out some things that we want to do. We can relive. When we do something positive and it worked, we can relive it and see how it feels and really let our body accept it. Teach our body that this is what I want it to feel like. I want to reward myself this way, and our brain catches on. And then there's affirmations. I have a whole thing I call personalized scriptures, Bible, personalized Bible paraphrase. And I've done a lot of affirmations in there. And there's other affirmations, but it can't just be, well, you know, a silly, willy-nilly type affirmation, you know, and some pie in the sky type things. Instead, it needs to be specific. It needs to be, you know, I'm going to be a millionaire, right? No, how about an affirmation like, I'm going to do these things with 100% that will get me to making this much this year. More specific, more personal, more goal-oriented. Affirmations that make sense, affirmations that are positive. And I use a lot of times as a pastor, I'll use scriptures for that. And that's part of our spiritual part that you can do. And so there's a lot of different things. I haven't went over all of them. You can get into our webinar on this and we'll teach you more. But MindSkills is critical. We have a lot of meditations that you can go for anxiety, depression. There'll be more in our blogs, videos, our webinars, and specific classes. But go to empowerforliving.com. This is Ron Ovitt, Mr. Change Agent. Thanks for watching.